Here I was, waiting to hear back from all of these medical schools I applied to, and I met my future husband. Plans changed. We fell in love, and we knew we wanted to get married. He works for Apple, so I moved to Silicon Valley, and took us several years of being in the Bay, but I got him to move to Sacramento. We just bought a house in East Sacramento, and it's my dream home. I may be living this perfect, charmed life, but that's not really the whole story. It all starts really in 1996. I was just about to start my sophomore year of high school when I had some horrible leg pain. We sort of wrote it off as growing pains for a little bit. Scan after scan showed nothing. The pain got worse and worse. That's really where the deeper story begins.
1996 was a year that neither Kim nor I nor anyone in our family will ever forget. We went to Kaiser Hospital to get a CAT scan, and as soon as she came out, we were met with an oncologist. As soon as we heard the word oncologist, panic set in, and that's when they came and they put her in a wheelchair, whisk her off down the hall. They took us in the office, and that's when the doctor said, "We think it's cancer." And we both burst into tears.
They mentioned that they would amputate my leg. That was the plan. But ultimately, they found a surgeon who wanted to try an experimental surgery called a limb salvage procedure. And I would be the first person in the world to have this particular surgery. They removed my entire knee and tibia, all the way from my femur to my ankle, and replaced it with a titanium prosthesis. It took me about a year to learn to walk again, but I have my leg. And it's research like this and brilliant minds like this that are thinking of new ways to save lives, save limbs, that allows me to have my leg and walk around. After the surgery and 13 months of chemo, I returned to high school. I skipped a year and a half total and then graduated on time, moved away to UC Davis. During my sophomore year there, from regular scans, they found a metastasis of Ewing sarcoma in my lungs. At now 19 years old, I was going to have chemo again.
You're totally unprepared for a cancer diagnosis. I was able to sleep like a baby at night. But when I woke up, that's when the nightmare began, over and over again each day. What is going to happen today? Is my daughter going to live? Is she going to die? Is she going to survive the chemo? What's going to happen? It's the fear of the unknown.
They removed half of my lung, but at this point they said I had really maxed out all of the chemo drugs I could have for Ewing sarcoma. So they put me on a breast cancer regimen. The drug that they put me on is called Taxotere, and the American Cancer Society actually funded that drug and helped it get FDA approval. It was approved by the FDA because of the work of the American Cancer Society in 1996. This drug saved my life and got rid of the metastasis of Ewing sarcoma in my lungs. Then, just before I graduated from UC Davis, they found another cancer. The doctors told me to tie up my loose ends and say my goodbyes.
When you hear the word cancer, you are immediately filled with fear, paralyzing fear. So many things that you have to learn. You don't want to learn them, but you are absolutely forced to learn them, or your child could die.
This time it was in my kidney, and ultimately, thank goodness, it was not a metastasis. It was a secondary cancer called renal cell carcinoma, and they just had to remove one kidney. So I have one kidney now, but I am here, and I did not need to say my goodbyes.
Cancer strikes the individual, but it's a family disease, and everybody needs support and love at this time. The American Cancer Society was something we were familiar with, but not on a personal basis before, and we were grateful. We were grateful to know that we had these resources to turn to.
bringing it back to sort of present day, my husband and I got married, and against all odds, the massive amounts of chemotherapy and radiation I received, I got pregnant with our daughter Charlotte on our honeymoon. Looking at my life now, I'm just so grateful for what I have and this beautiful home and this beautiful family. And without organizations like the American Cancer Society raising money, raising awareness, finding new research, I would not have had this outcome. I would not have had this end to my story. I would not be able to have this second chance or third chance or fourth chance that I've had. There was a point in my life where I thought it could not get any worse. And now, honestly, I'm not sure how it could get any better.